It's great to see that when we have a worldwide pandemic that no governments are going through and being completely authoritarian. Like, it's not like New York City, for example, is using spy cameras or camera CCTVs to go through and make sure people keep distance. That people are 1.5 meters away from each other. That's glad that's not happening. I'm also glad the Australian government is not putting out an app that tracks people's movements, because that would be in itself scary. Now, there's some caveats to that. They're claiming that the data will only be sent if you agree to it, and it's a voluntary idea to download the app, at least at the moment anyway. But we'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, basically the Australian government has put out an app called something safe, Beerbug Safe, where it will actually go through and send a digital signal to other people that are in the area to let them know whether you are beerbug safe or not, or if you've been tested positive for beerbug. Now, this in itself should be kind of terrifying. Sure. And of course, this is the same government, mind you, who is a part of the Five Eyes network, who has always, in no shape or form, forced encryption backdoors into tech companies, or denied quiet government access to encrypted data, or anything like that, or spied networks to access your private data. And of course, the Australian government is really focusing on encryption right now. Of course, what they mean by focusing on encryption is they're focusing on how to break it. But anyway. And it's not like one of the Australian lead VPNs has come out and has raised concerns over the Australian government set to undermine online privacy and security by putting in said backdoors and whatnot into the Australian encryption network. The Australian encryption backdoors. Let's read this for a sec, because this is interesting. As we wrote recently, the Australian government has steadily begun working towards forcing tech companies in Australia to open their encryption communications. Possibly, the government wants this to improve public order and counter-terrorism capabilities. That may be true, but the government's global trends towards excessive Big Brother surveillance makes that claim hard to believe. This is literally from a VPN service provider. Now, of course, some people are going to sit there and say, fine, they have a vested interest, blah, blah, blah. No, the Australian government actually wants access to your VPN server. That's what this is all about. They're claiming that bad people with bad intentions are using VPNs to go through, so they want access now to VPNs. And no way, shape or form is mum or pop down the street looking up porn under a VPN going to be used against you at any given time down the future. Of course not. If you run for government, all of a sudden, there's no way they're going to go through and start escalating through all that data or combing through all that data to try and find out something that could possibly be used against you for slander. But regardless. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, the Australian media is doing their best to really hammer home how safe this app really is, It reaches target despite privacy concerns, because the Australian media right now is shelling for this app so frigging hard. Features to save lives, not to harvest private information. Of course not. The Australian government doesn't want your private information. That's why we don't have a Five Eyes network that's set to encrypt and decrypt data just so they can get said private information. But you can trust the same company, or the same company's actually right, but you can trust the same government that wants your data, that wants access to VPN backdoors. You can trust them with your data on COVID safe. Of course, obviously, the biggest issue that I have with this whole thing is that Apple is actually storing their iCloud data in China. So, I'm sure there's no way China could access that data if they really, really wanted it to. By the way, China was the same one responsible for the release of this virus in the first place. Now, here they're saying that the app's permissions, upon preliminary test, it seems the federal government has delivered on its promise to surrounding data security. Test runs for an hour show that the app didn't transmit data to any external or remote servers. The only external communication was a handshake to a remote server. This is simply a way of establishing a secure connection. Additional tests should be carried out. Now, the interesting thing they found out about this app too is that A, it drains your battery life like a what, but also, unless the app is currently running in the foreground, it doesn't necessarily work. So that's a plus, I suppose. At least if you are forced to download it, at least there's a good chance it won't work because it has to run in the foreground. But anyway, wimp out. App should be compulsory, says local Chamber of Commerce. A local Chamber of Commerce in Sydney's North Shore has been forced to back down from comments demanding local businesses refuse entry to customers and staff who have not downloaded the Beerbug Safe Tracing app. King Dring Yung, Chamber of Commerce. That's a fantastic Australian name there, by the way. His name's Peter. Peter Vickers, sorry, my bad. Said he emailed between 1,500 to 2,000 local businesses on Monday, directing them to ensure their customers had downloaded the app. It's very important that all businesses, from both their team's members and customers and visitors to the business in the King, must carry mobile phones with COVID-safe app operating on it, said in the email. I wonder why the Australian government or branches of the government would want you to download this app. What happens to my data? Specifically, does the Commonwealth government must cause the app data in the national data stores of the pandemic. Right. So they're saying that once the pandemic has been over, which is an undisclosed amount of time at the moment, they have to go through and delete the servers that store the data. Now, like I say, this is the data that you've accepted to go through and send. Okay. Yeah, sure. And obviously not a bad idea if you're a fan of dystopia and a mass government overreach. I agree with this guy, actually, 100%. And obviously iPhone users with Australia's new tracking app must keep it running in the background for it to work. So, there's always that way to get past it, I suppose. Of course, if you go through and do a Google search for, obviously, this program, it's just literally just media covering for it, just trying to shill it, especially in the past, hour or 2 hours, because it's gone live over the past day or so. Reaches 2.5 million downloads. Like, privacy concerns are misplaced, says developer. Sure. Everything you need to know about the app. Yeah. And the code for it is obviously to be released within 2 weeks. So obviously then we'll have a better idea of it. Look, obviously we don't know for sure whether it's a Trojan horse or not. But here's the thing. The same people that wanted this app are the same ones that are going through and encrypting VPN servers and pushing companies to have backdoors put into their security. So obviously they don't exactly care about security, right? So I don't know about you guys, but if you were to trust anybody, probably asking or trusting the same people that want the same backdoors in the VPNs, the same ones that a company, for example, a leading VPN company is slightly concerned about, probably is not the best of places to start. And also, there's also a risk here with normalizing this sort of stuff. Even if this app, even if it comes off as safe, even if there are no concerns, is this the new norm? Is this what we're going to be doing now? We're going to be installing tracking software on our phones? Whether or not it sends the data or not, just the premise alone of installing tracking software on your phone is greatly concerning to me. Like the quote says, people that give up civil liberties for security deserve neither. And it is an amazing quote. I'm sorry, there is no way in hell I am installing this app on my phone. And if I am forced, by some reason, at gunpoint, to install this app, okay, I'll install it, and then I'm going to smash my phone and just refuse to buy another one. There's no way in hell I am putting this on my phone. Even if it is safe, I don't even want the idea of the government being able to track me. And, okay, say my data is safe. Say it doesn't send my data. Fine. But what about someone else who has authorized that data? For example, say Bob and Jane are down the road. Bob is slightly concerned about government overreach and authoritarianism, so he's been forced to download this app, right? So he's going through and he's reluctantly using it, but he doesn't send any of the data back to the server. But then Jane is a bit ditzy. Jane believes the government when they turn around and say they're not interested in your personal data. And she sends all the data back to the server. She sends it willingly, smacking that data button. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, send, send, send. Right? What data is sent back once Jane has authorized it? Is Bob's information, where Bob was located as well, is that stored in the data? That data that Jane is sending back? There's the biggest concern. It's not what you send back, and they're being very careful when they say this. But what about what other people are sending back to the server? Is the app that they're sending, the data that they're sending back, saying, hey, we bumped into Bob. He was located at this address. Is that being sent back because Jane is a bit ditzy and Jane is a bit happy to slap that yes data button? That's also a concern. Not only is that, but hey, your data might be on your phone, which is encrypted, terrific, great, but it's still stored on a mobile phone. They're still not the bastion of security. There is a reason why when you go into a very high security building, they tell you to leave your mobile phone at the desk. There is still a reason why Snowden puts his mobile phone in a microwave. Which, by the way, is the best idea you could possibly do. Because at the end of the day, they're not frigging secure. Even if this app is the bastion of security, it's still installed on a device that's not secure. Not only that, but like I said, normalizing this sort of thing? Bad idea! But I can't believe 2 million people actually downloaded this thing. 2 million people turned around and said, yeah, it's okay if the government goes through and spies on me. Even if they don't send the data, they're still allowing the pretense of the government doing it. What is wrong with you people? Wake up! I just want to slap these 2 million people. Wake up! What are you doing? But, I don't know. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Have you downloaded this app? And obviously I'm talking to the Aussies there in the bunch. Did you download it? Are you like, hell no? Let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, we'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. There's going to be more videos later today. This is just the major one that I'm doing right now. So I'll find a couple more topics and we'll do about them as well. But have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. And for the love of God, don't install this app.